Every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
I want hand for corruption.
A country, institution, or organization that hopes to succeed must create a spending plan that aligns with its available resources. This plan, usually tagged the budget, runs for a period of time, mostly not exceeding a 12-month cycle. However, just having an expenditure plan for the year would not translate to good governance or service delivery without an effective evaluation and monitoring of the implementation processes. Hello viewers, welcome to another yet exciting edition of Corruption Must Go, ICPC's weekly television program. I am your host, Hawa Garba. Today on the program, we shall beam our searchlight on how ICPC uses budget tracking as a tool to curb corruption. We will also be learning more about the Commission initiatives on budget tracking as well as project tracking, results and challenges so far. And finally, we will find out if ICPC's enabling law empowers the Commission to track budgets. Details of these and more come up shortly after our segment on anti-corruption stories with Ruth Awodi. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Hawa. Welcome to this segment on anti-corruption stories. I am Ruth Awodi. A Kano State High Court has sentenced Mohammed Ibrahim Hassan, staff of the Kano State Urban Planning and Development Authority, to 5 years jail term for defrauding the state government of 513,445 naira. Mr. Mohammed Hassan was charged by ICPC on a 4-count charge for allegedly forging a treasury receipt of the Kano State Government with the intent to support a claim of refunding the said amount to the state government. The charge revealed that Mr. Hassan committed the offense between June 2017 and March 2018 when he dishonestly made fake treasury receipts of Kano State Government to support his claim of returning 299,509 naira and 213,935 naira in separate tranches to the state government when he actually did not refund any money. He pleaded not guilty when the charge was read to him, but changed his plea and entered into a plea bargain, which was granted on the condition that he agreed to refund the 513,445 naira. The presiding judge, Justice Lawa Awada, sentenced the defendant to 5 years imprisonment or a fine of 100,000 naira. He also ruled that the convict should refund 513,445 naira to the Kano State Government. In another development, ICPC has arraigned 2 officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, over alleged extortion of motorists and gratification. In a two-count charge brought before Honorable Justice H. Aprioku of the Rivers State High Court 11 sitting in Port Harcourt, ICPC told the court how the duo John Asegu and Otom Asueni forcefully collected various sums of money totaling 3,500 naira from motorists as a fee to allow the motorists pass their checkpoints along Port Harcourt-Ahoda Expressway even without being charged for any traffic offense. The commission also accused the defendants of using their position as public officers to confer undue advantage upon themselves by soliciting for and accepting gratification. The defendants were arrested on the act after ICPC mounted a sting operation on them following intelligence. The accused persons pleaded not guilty to the two-count charge and the trial judge granted them bail, but because of their inability to meet up with the bail conditions, they were remanded in the custody of the Correctional Service. The case was subsequently adjourned for commencement of trial. That would be all on this segment. Corruption Must Go continues with Hawa. Stay with us.
If you are just joining us, this is Corruption Must Go. Budget is an estimate of expenditures and their cost implication to be executed in a given financial year. It is a drawn-up spending plan for the purpose of actualizing a set objective for a period of time. There are tools to ensure budget efficiency and effectiveness. Budget tracking, for instance, is a salient tool for ensuring that the country budget is well executed and the set targets are met. Proper tracking of government budget and projects by citizens would make the government at all levels to be responsible and accountable. It will also enhance transparency and public confidence in governance. Budget tracking or monitoring is very important in curbing corruption, as the process would check the abuse of public funds and avoid the diversion of financial resources meant for specific projects. In short, this tool enables the project to be people-oriented. Mr. Tolutokbe Agunloye is the deputy manager of a civil society called Budget, which objective is to simplify the Nigerian budget and public data, making it accessible to aid participatory governance, speaks on the subject.
Okay, so before I talk about what project tracking is, let's start with what a budget is. So the budget is, my own simple definition, is the second most important document of any nation. Now, the most important is the constitution, then followed by the budget, because it speaks to the needs of the people. Before development can happen, it has to be budgeted. Now, there are 4 phases in the budget cycle. The first one is the preparation, the second is the approval. After the approval is implementation. The last phase is now the budget audit or the budget monitoring. Now, if all these phases are done well, it makes it easy for CSOs, citizens to be able to track the budget effectively. Now, what is budget tracking? Tracking alone simply means monitoring. Now, monitoring the implementation of the budget so that it will suit or meet the needs of the citizens of the country, or the needs of the indigenes of the state, or whatever community that they belong to. So budget tracking is so important. Now, why is it important? It ensures that projects are done effectively, because citizens that track the budget are more like checkmating the use of funds, which should be used effectively so that citizens can get dividends of democracy. So it's really important to ensure that funds that have been allocated are used wisely or spent wisely, so that infrastructure would be seen in the community. So I think they have similarities. So let's just look at the similarities. Budget, project. So capital projects are embedded in the budget. So budget is divided into recurrent and capital. Now, the capital expenditure will definitely list out all the capital projects that will be implemented. So in that case, you can now say you're tracking the projects. That makes it project tracking. However, in overall, you see, if you say budget tracking, it simply means you're tracking the implementation of the budget, whether it is recurrent, whether it is capital. But the moment you now make emphasis on project tracking, you're talking about the capital project of the budget. So in the military era, every first day of the year, of the new year, the head of state will only come out to say, fellow Nigerians, fellow states, and the next thing is going to read out some statement that has to do in form of a budget. Citizens also will have an opportunity to engage the military government to say, can we have a public hearing? No, there was no room for that. However, democracy has given us an opportunity for us to interact with the government, to have citizens' participation, and that has increased massively. Now, citizens have that opportunity to be able to engage the government in this administration that we are in. Now, because of our participation and involvement, now project tracking has enabled projects that has been listed in the budget and funded. Now, those keywords are very important. I mentioned earlier, for development to happen in the state, it has to be budgeted. Now, if it is budgeted and there is revenue, it simply means that what has been budgeted for and money disbursed, it simply means that that project has to be done. So project tracking helps citizens to be able to hold government accountable in order to curb corruption and to ensure that projects that have been listed and funded should be implemented. So, to start with, the Commission has been doing a fantastic work, whether it be the past leadership, with the current one doing great work. Now, the current administration of the Commission had to set up a constituency project tracking group.
Yes.
Now, which budget belonged to, and with this group, we were able to hold government accountable. Now, I like the fact that it's even a government agency that is now ensuring that government funds is really working for the people. Now, with this group, we've been able to ensure that constituency projects, mainly over the past 5 years, because we had to look back to 2015 and the current year, to ensure that those projects, whether it was abandoned or money was scattered away, those projects are implemented. And we've had a series of results. Case study, Enugu, when a senator, I don't want to mention his name, housed motorcycles, grinding machines, so many equipment that are meant to be distributed to the people. But he housed it in a particular warehouse in a community in Enugu. Now, with what we've done, we're able to track those projects, and we were able to call the attention of the ICPC to say there's a particular or a particular equipment stored here, and ICPC had to step in because we don't have the mandate to do all that, but ICPC has, and ICPC stepped in, was able to get the those items distributed to the members of that community. Now, the senator gave a series of excuses. He was ill, he was waiting for the right time, But the major thing the commission is after is that citizens, that things have been budgeted for, get access to those things. And the commission is not interested to hold or to do litigation. Now, let me put that. Do litigation, however, just to ensure that money that have been embezzled are returned, all those projects are implemented. So a series of examples like that has been done, and the commission has really played a major role in ensuring that those projects are done. Another thing is through tracking of the palliative during the COVID-19, budget had written a series of petitions to the ICPC to ensure that those petitions, based on what we track, to ensure that the commission engage with those members, or should I say members of the legislative house that we've listed, that they are questioned, and to ensure that we get a tangible result based on the other successes that we've recorded. So the successes are huge. Just to mention a few. I think I will stop at that point. Yeah, it's one step. Now, the major step itself is ensuring that the budget itself is clear. If the budget is clear right from the beginning, it simply means that the preparation of the budget should involve the citizens. If the citizens are involved from the early stage up to the public hearing before it is approved, then the implementation itself, citizens will begin to own those projects themselves because you carry them along from the beginning. Because they are involved, they will take ownership.
As part of its preventive and public engagement mandates, ICPC had engaged in training civil society organizations on getting involved in budget processes, from conception to implementation. This exercise took place in 17 states. Thereafter, the Commission initiated the Constituency and Executive Project Tracking Initiative, which is aimed at ensuring satisfactory execution of projects, value for money, and improved service delivery. Mr. Jimoh Suleiman, Assistant Commissioner, Constituency and Executive Project Tracking Unit of ICPC, throws more light.
Sometimes back, ICPC, in order to engender transparency and accountability at the grassroots level, organize training and capacity building for stakeholders at the grassroots, such that they can demand for accountability, they can be part of the budgeting processes at the grassroots level. And these stakeholders include CSO, civil society organizations at the grassroots level, politicians, youth leaders, women leaders, and politicians within the local environment. The aim then was that when these people get involved in budget processes, then there will be developments across board within the grassroots level, and that was what we did. After training these CSOs, we now mandated the CSOs to also go back to the grassroots level to go and train people. After the training, then we now ask them, we now require from them to go and monitor what is happening at the local government level. We requested from them that they should, in the first instance, allow those that were trained to input projects in the budget within that year, and they did. The following year, ICPC, in conjunction with the UNDP, had to now go to the various local governments to see what really had happened, and what we saw was marvelous, was wonderful. That is the major thing we are doing now, constituency and the executive project tracking. You see, let me start by talking about the constituency project in the first instance. Our constituency project came about as a result of the desire of to bring development to the state level, to the grassroots. Every year, you see money being voted for development, 100 billion every year. So the ICPC now decided that let us track this money. Let us see what is happening. And again, because there were complaints, increased complaints by the citizenry regarding the so-called projects. Sometimes most of the projects were not done. Sometimes they were shoddily done. You can see that there is no value for money being spent. So ICPC had to decide that let us move on and decide to track this project across the country. The first phase we did was in 12 states. And when the result came out, people saw what happened. They saw how contractors that had long abandoned projects started coming back. So people praised what ICPC did. That was why it was now decided, when ICPC wanted to do the follow-up, that is phase 2, that project being executed by the executive should also be included. So the horizon was widened. And we were doing this, ICPC was doing it in a selected and impactful sector: health, education, water resources, agriculture, and power. So this was what we were doing, and it was marvelous. There were so many things that were revealing. When you talk about impacts, we have positive impacts. I can say that for sure. Aside from the fact that contractors who had run away with government money started coming back when they saw that ICPC was tracking each project one after the other. Most of them started coming back to either do the complete the project they had abandoned, or those who did not start at all started coming to start the project. Another impact was that people at the grassroots, at the state level, are now demanding accountability from their the representatives. You cannot say you are representing a community, a constituency, and you are not showing your impact. If money is voted for a project, let us see those projects. And from this, the people at the grassroots also know that this funding is from the federal government. It was not a personal money or personal funding from any of the legislators. So they were happy that yes, the secret was revealed, that this money was from government. Aside from that again, we were able to recover billions of naira from contractors that had abandoned projects. We recover vehicles, we recover assets, we recover so many things. So to me, people like what we are doing, and from what we have been doing, you can now see increase in information that they are giving ICPC now, or increase in petition regarding constituency projects in locality. Likewise, executive projects, these are being handled by MDAs. Yes, when you talk about budget tracking, whether it reduces corruption, it is in one way or the other, because when you are involved in budget process and in the first instance, you know what is in the budget. And if what is in the budget is not executed, you will demand accountability from your leaders.
How can it get better when we do not want to be better people? Do not want to be better. A lot of them youths just a waste away. Them a politician, no they try for the case. Na so thief them the thief for. Then go carry our money, then go carry them to oversee. Na 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 na. Oh no no, they fear people know they try them a loot them a scam them a bribe every time. Instead make we try, make we find solution. We can't fight, we they do corruption. In every situation we need to be better, me and you. Corruption is not the solution. Say no more looting, no more bribery, no more scamming, me and you. Me I know we can be better, me and you. But things can be better if we make ourselves some better.
Budget tracking, as we have seen, is effective in curbing corruption in Nigeria, but this important tool should not be left for the law enforcement agencies alone to drive. It should be the collective responsibility of all and sundry. Citizens must take on the challenge to be part of this process by identifying specific projects and activities which government should execute in a year, with a view to ensuring that these projects and activities are people-oriented and have value for money. Where such projects are not executed or shadily executed, the public should contact ICPC on its toll-free number 0800 22 554272. You can also visit our website www.icpc.gov.ng as shown on the screen. That's our package on this week's edition. You can also watch the program on our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/ICPC Nigeria. See you again next week. Bye for now.